Welcome to Rocky River Presbyterian Church and our Wednesday evening devotion time of Bible study. Tonight we're in Matthew 22, verses 15 through 22. Listen for God's word tonight. Then the Pharisees went and plotted to entrap Jesus in what he said. So they sent their disciples to him along with the Herodians, saying, "Teacher, we know that you are sincere and teach the way of God in accordance with truth, and show deference to no one, for you do not regard people with partiality. Tell us then what you think. Is it lawful to pay taxes to the emperor or not?" But Jesus, aware of their malice, said, "Why are you putting me to the test, you hypocrites? Show me the coin used for the tax." And they brought him a denarius. Then he said to them, "Whose head is on this, and whose title?" And they answered, "The emperor's." Then he said to them, "Give therefore to the emperor the things that are the emperor's, and to God the things that are God's." When they heard this, they were amazed, and they left him and went away. At this point in Matthew, we're getting close to the end of the story. Jesus has already entered Jerusalem with his triumphant entry. He has turned over the tables of the money changers in the temple. He is challenging the religious and political rulers of the day. So these two sets of Jewish folks, the Herodians and the Pharisees, typically at odds with each other in everyday life, join together to take on this rabble-rousing rabbi, Jesus. The question is taxes. If Jesus says pay taxes to Rome, then all the common folks who have followed along with him will turn on him. If he says don't pay taxes, then that puts him at odds with the government, and that's not a good place to be in Rome. So he asks for the coin, they give him one, and he asks whose face is on it, and what does it say? It's the emperor. It's an odd thing for those who are trying to trap Jesus to have one of these coins with them, because it would have had a graven image on it, and that would be breaking the second commandment. But Jesus doesn't accuse them of idolatry. He calls them hypocrites, and that is folks who are taking on the image of something else. In essence, what Jesus is saying about them is they have forgotten who they are. Remember back in Genesis chapter 1, when God says, "Let us make humankind in our likeness, in our image." The 4th century church leader Tertullian said that we are like a coin, and by God's grace, we are stamped with the image of God on us. And that is what gives us our true value. So in this story, the likeness on the coin is not the most important image here. God has already stamped a divine image on our lives. There are demands for us by civil authorities, and we do have a responsibility in civic life. We do have a place in participating in the community. But if I give to God what is God's, then my money, my politics, my life is driven by my faith with God as the center. In this season of politics, with so many clamoring voices, may we remember to whom we belong, in whose image we have been created. May we keep that in mind in how we speak to each other, and how we treat each other, and how we live in community with each other during this political season. By God's grace, we are stamped with the image of God, and that is what gives us our true value. Thanks for being with us this evening at Rocky River Presbyterian Church for our Wednesday evening devotion time and Bible study. Remember, be safe and be well. And in the likeness of God, be the church.